People usually talk about the brand, the brand, the brand, the brand. We want to dive in with Naman, the person himself.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum, people listening and watching. You're tuning into the Let's Walk podcast. I'm your host Atta, and today I'm joined by Naman, the founder of Code Effort. So, Naman, thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me here, and thank you everyone who will be listening to our podcast.
So, Naman, I want you to probably start off with your studying days, probably in BCom. So, you studied BCom, and then, like, were you already into entrepreneurship, or were you part of the e-cell? How did you come across, entrepreneurship in its very essence? Like, how did you come across the very spark?
So, first I'll tell you my educational background so that you have a fair idea of where I come from. I have commerce background. I've done commerce 10 plus 2, and after doing my 10 plus 2, I went to Delhi University for doing my graduation. I did my graduation in BCom from Delhi University, and that was open, like a correspondence course. Because at that time, when I was doing BCom, I was also pursuing CA, Chartered Accountancy. So I have cleared till IPC level uh, in these three and a half years when I was completing BCom. And that is when, while I was completing my BCom and when I was in my final year, then this idea of cigarette waste management and recycling struck me. At that time, I thought, why am I studying so much and why I am not putting in my efforts and my time towards my own venture? So I don't have any technical background. I haven't uh, gone through any e-cell or anything. Whatever entrepreneurship has given to me, it's completely practical, 100% practical, and all the learnings and all the experience that I have gained is through the practical exposure and the ground level working that I have been through in our venture of cigarette waste management and recycling.
So, how exactly? So, you said you came across cigarette waste management and everything. So, how did you actually? How did Code Effort come into existence, and how did you actually name the company Code Effort?
Okay. So, very interesting question. Basically, when this idea came to my mind, I am not a smoker, but I am comfortable with people smoking because it's a legal commodity everywhere, not just in India. There are a lot of consumers of these cigarette and tobacco products because it's a legal commodity. So, at my college time also, I have been in a circle wherein a lot of people smoke, and because I don't have any problem, so it doesn't hamper our friendship. But when this idea came up, I was literally seeing a lot of cigarette butts here and there lying around on the roadsides, in our college rooms, in PGs, everywhere. So at that time, because I was not a smoker, so I thought it's a cotton and it has some recyclability or some mechanism wherein it's getting properly disposed. Okay. But when going into details, then, when I research of what exactly is happening in India with respect to recycling, I came across that there are no specific waste management companies, and even no recycling companies are existing in the Indian market. So, because I have a commerce background and I have a stint to start my own venture, so that is why I started working on recycling these cigarette butts so that we can possibly develop a venture out of this scrap materials or cigarette butts. Now, coming to the name, why we chose Code Effort is because I, as an individual, I cannot solve a problem single-handedly. I need a team. And to make our venture successful or to bring it to existence, we started working collectively. I don't have any technical background, like I mentioned. So, the first person who uh, came up to help me was my elder brother, Mr. Vipul Gupta. He has technical background, so he helped me develop a recycling technology and an infrastructure so that we can recycle these cigarette butts. And then Once we had the technology through our research and through our hit and trials, then we started formulating a business model wherein we were able to collect and recycle the cigarette butts into various upcycle products. So we started working to an end-to-end solution. So that is why Code Effort is basically a collective effort to conserve our depleting environment. So Code has a full form of conserving our depleting environment, wherein we are trying to recycle the cigarette butts in the most environmentally responsible manner.
Wow, you put it very nicely. So
Yes.
you have NMOS, which is your mosquito repellent, and then you have your cotton going into the teddy bears. Do you have any other products as well? And do you think about, making those specific products into a brand itself, like NMOS, and obviously coming up with scented mosquito repellents and whatnot? So do you think about making products and making brands into themselves, like those teddy bears, obviously, and the NMOS and whatnot?
Right. So, brands wise, we have multiple brands under the uh, company Code Effort Private Limited. So, the first brand is VBins. VBins is basically a value bin. VBins is a brand name that we have. It's a registered brand, and V-bins is a short form for value bins. So these bins are specifically made to dispose the cigarette butts. It has very tiny holes so that only a cigarette butt or a matchstick or a BD can go inside it. No other items like cups, plates, or any other waste items. But in India, practically, if you see, people will play around with the bin. So we receive all kinds of waste materials, even though the size is very small, so that only a cigarette butt can go. But it's India, so we cannot do much about it. But we are okay. At least we are trying to give an appropriate disposal option to the smokers. Because if we don't provide the bins, then eventually the cigarette people who are smoking these cigarettes, they will throw these cigarette butts on the roads. So by providing a V bin, we have solved three problems. One, the first and the foremost problem is giving the cigarette smokers an appropriate disposal option. Okay, so it's a win-win situation for all of us. The second benefit of our VBIN is that we are able to segregate the waste at source. Because if we are able to segregate the waste at source, then it's not getting mixed up in other waste items. So it's easier for us to collect and recycle the waste that we require. And the third is basically by providing V-bins, we are able to collect these cigarette butts from multiple areas. So right now in India, we have already installed more than 1.5 lakh bins across India through our network of 250 plus districts. So this is the first brand that we have so that we can efficiently collect the cigarette butts from multiple states. Now, the second brand you already mentioned, NMOSC. NMOSC is basically no mosquito. This is a mosquito repellent that we make, and this is a seasonal product because the demand is high during summers and monsoon season. So, in the winters, the demand is a bit low. So this is another brand name that we have and a brand for mosquito repellents. The third brand that we have is VMake. VMake is a stationery and a toy items for like we have soft toys. So this is a brand. It is also a registered brand. So we branded by the name of VMake, and a new brand that is upcoming will market it as the D2C brand. So the fourth brand that we have is Decor Earth. So this Decor Earth is basically a home decor items and home decor and luxury brand, wherein we are making soft these cushions and multiple other tabletops and other luxury items such as sculptures. So these are our brands that we are making from the recycled cigarette waste and putting out all these items through our website and through e-commerce platforms and selling them.
So do you see on expanding into different states? Like you said, you're already uh, like you have been covering a lot of districts. Do you plan on expanding into different states as well?
So, states-wise, yes, we are open to procurement mechanisms wherein anybody who wants to join hands with us, instead of just investing a lot of money towards infrastructure and towards the recycling technology, we have a model wherein anybody can join hands with us as an associate. We call them associate in our terms. So the associate has the responsibility to efficiently collect the cigarette butts and just send it across to our factory, wherein we recycle these cigarette butts into these various utility and commodities. So this way, half of the job gets done, so that in case anybody is supplying us the raw materials from any part of the nation, they are getting paid for that raw material. So it's a holistic approach, so that we can focus on recycling more, and the person who is supplying, he can focus on collection more and more, because by collecting these cigarette butts, it's a revenue model for the associate by collecting and selling the cigarette butts, and by recycling and making the final products, it's a revenue model for our company. So this way, the focus remains on the primary targets that are well defined. For the associate, it's to sell the cigarette butts. For Code Effort, it's to recycle and make final products for selling purposes. So this is how we work. To add here one point, that we have overseas operations also. We are currently working in Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Nepal. So we are open for overseas operations also, because we are a very flexible organization, and cigarette problem and the waste problem related to cigarettes is a very common problem. It's not restricted to India, it's everywhere. Wherever you go, even if you go to the Everest, you'll find one or two cigarette butts. Or even if you scuba dive, or if you go into the oceans, you'll find cigarette butts. So cigarette butts are everywhere. So it's just that the society needs a solution to this problem, and luckily we are open to help the society grow, and not just grow together. So that is why we are open, and we are willing to operate in each and every part of the nation, as well as each and every country in this planet Earth.
So, Naman, what are some of the challenges we talked about? How you're open to like work overseas, the birth of Code Effort, and naming Code Effort. So, what are some challenges you faced initially, and while like uh, during the formation of Code Effort? And like, was it funding? Was it looking for investors and whatnot? Like, what are the challenges you faced?
Right. So funding wise, I don't see it as a challenge, because to as an entrepreneur, if you are just relying on the funding, then your business is not real. That is my perspective. If you have a solid vision towards your business, whatever idea, not just cigarette waste in our case, any idea, if you have a very solid vision, and if you are determined that this product or this service or whatever solution that I am offering to this problem, this will work out, then it will eventually work out. It's just that how much efforts and how much commitment you have towards your own idea. Because if you are not yourself convinced, or if you cannot commit yourself, then no other investor will commit on you. Are you getting me? So funding wise, it's not a challenge, because in our case, when we started, we were not making any product. We were just going out in the market to create awareness. In our case, the major challenge was to create awareness, because in India, or even in multiple countries where there are taboos. So in India, cigarette and smoking is a taboo and a very sensitive topic. If you're talking about cigarettes and if you're talking about smoking, it's directly considered negative or something bad for health and for environment, for everything. It doesn't have any positivity. Smoking and cigarettes does not give a positive vibe to anybody. It's considered bad or negative or has adverse effects. So to create awareness that we are trying to bring about positivity, and we are trying to utilize these cigarette butts in something useful, was a major challenge in our case, more challenging than funding. So, first and foremost, we tried to solve the problem of awareness that yes, we are here to give you a solution to recycle these cigarette butts. Instead of ending up in the landfills, we will collect them and we will provide a solution to recycle these cigarette butts. So eventually, in the first 1 or 2 years, we were able to join hands with a lot of individuals, a lot of NGOs, a lot of companies who were like-minded and were willing to support our cause. Then at that time, it was a turning point in 2020. That was the turning point when we started receiving a good response with respect to cigarette waste management and recycling. At that time, we started focusing more on expanding our capacities of recycling and making the products so that we can generate some revenue out of these out of the recycled cigarette waste products. Okay, so the to summarize, basically the major challenge is awareness and creating like-minded people community. If you have a community and if you have paying customers, then eventually investors will also fall in. They will also start coming in, and it's not necessary that you yourself have to approach investors. If your idea is solid and if you have paying customers, plus if you are committed, then no, there is no stopping. And if you take 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years, eventually you will land up being successful and you will be able to raise money to expand your business.
Nice point. Though there's something, I saw on your Instagram page is that Code Effort does not promote smoking. And I think
Right.
somewhere down the line, people have kind of associated that, since you're using cigarette butts, you are indirectly kind of supporting smoking. So what take do you have on that statement? Like some people do have that opinion though.
Yes. So it's a very good observation that people link us with smoking and link us with indirectly or directly promoting smoking. So to clarify on this point, we are completely okay if you are smoking. I don't have any right to judge you if you are a smoker. It's your choice. You are yourself consuming your cigarettes. I don't have any issues. If I can provide you a solution wherein you can dispose your cigarette butts, which can be further utilized in making the final products, then why not give it a try? That is my perspective. Okay. It might be wrong, it might be right for some people, and it might be wrong for some people, but we are here to talk about waste, not just cigarettes. We are here to talk about cigarettes and cigarette waste, to be precise. In the coming time, if eventually people stop smoking, and in case people quit smoking and cigarette gets banned, or if we as a humanity, if we do away with cigarettes, so I will be the first person to cherish it and to be happy about it, because I will consider myself that after starting a recycling business and making money out of it, people stopped smoking. So it will be a win for me, and I will take up some other waste item and start recycling it so that I can eradicate that particular item also, be it plastics, be it straws, be it any kind of waste. So I am concerned with waste and our environment more than just smoking and commodities.
Nice. So Naman, being a CEO, being a founder, obviously you're in a position of leadership. So, uh, what do you look for people while you're hiring, or while your initial stages as well, while you're having a team? It's not that only one person should be doing the work. Like when there's a team, they say in English that, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So what are some qualities you look in for people to hire in your team? And what are some of the things you learned throughout the process of hiring and firing?
So, in the hiring and firing process, I haven't fired anybody. It is possible that some people have left us in due course of. So, in my entire journey, I haven't fired anybody. People might have left in case of some work issues or some business or personal issues, but personally, I haven't fired anyone. In the hiring case, the first quality that I look for is conviction and determination. If you are determined and if you are ethically true to your work, then I can teach you any other point or any other task. But if you are not committed towards waste and solving the problem of waste, then the wavelength will never match. So, the first and foremost quality for me is conviction and uh, true towards the ethics of business or any job. So that is the only quality I look for. If you are committed towards these things, I am open to hire you and we can work together.
Nice. So, as we are approaching time, there's few questions we end with. We call it the perspective questions to bring in more perspective into our lives. So, if you were to have dinner with three people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Three people to have dinner with.
Yeah, if you were to have dinner
First,
with three people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
so all of these three people will be in a single table, or I can have one-on-one dinner with each of them individually.
It's up to you. It's up to you.
I would prefer to have individual dinners with first and foremost Mr. Ratan Tata, because he is one of the industrialists whom I admire, and instead of just a business, he's an industrialist and he has a very pure heart. So he is one of the person I would love to have dinner with or just meet him so that I can learn from him. The second person who is coming to my mind currently is he's a I guess he is dead right now. He was a Punjabi singer Sidhu
Mhm.
Moosewala. Yes, so I would love to have. Eh, I cannot have a dinner with him right now, but his music was very. Some people call it violent, but I guess he was on the good lines. Even Nipsey Hussle was also a good artist. So artist wise, one of either Sidhu or either Nipsey, both are dead. And the third person, uh, my parents, because it's a lovely time to have a dinner with them. So I every day have dinner with them. So the third person who I can never uh, leave or I cannot live without is my parents or even my family, the closed ones.
That's nice because you always keep on working and working, and when you have that family time, it kind of helps you rejuvenate and everything.
Yes. So family is a priority. So even if they are not a very famous or something, they are my world. So that is why I would love to have a dinner with them every time.
So, Naman, if you were to go back in time, 5 years, 10 years, what would you do differently? As in, like, would you take different steps to start code effort, or like, what would you say to younger Naman?
So if I had started cigarette waste management, I would have started something for animals and our flora and fauna. I really like all the other creatures, animals, birds, fishes. So I'm a very nature friendly person. Even if I'm traveling alone or something, if I'm into the nature, I feel myself. So uh, if I hadn't done something with waste management, I would have done something so that I can bring prosperity into the animals' lives.
Nice. So, Naman, do you read any books?
No, currently I don't get a lot of time to read books, but I go through a lot of snippets and a lot of I am involved in a lot of chat rooms and WhatsApp groups. So some of the groups are very business oriented, but some groups are very proactive and very progressive in terms to leading your life and how you can bring about a change in your behavior and your attitude. So all these learnings and all these groups, I read all the chats, every chat. So even if it has nothing to do with my business, then also I read them because we can learn from each other. So if somebody is sharing some insights about their own experience or their learnings, so it's a good thing to read upon, not just learning through the books, but through the experience. I get a wider perspective. So I am open to join multiple groups also. That is why. And people allow me very easily. That is why. They ask me to join this group. I agree and I join it instantly.
So, Naman, where is the best place people can find Code Effort, people can find you and come in contact with you?
We are very easily traceable on all these social media, and we have our own website. The URL is www.codeefforts.com. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you can just type Code Effort. You'll find our social media handles wherein you can connect. And our team is very proactive. They'll respond to you within the earliest time period.
So, guys and girls, ladies and gents, this is it for the Let's Walk podcast. I hope you guys learned something. Feel free to reach out to Naman and Code Effort if you have anything. Feel free to buy out any of the stuff, be it NMOS. Obviously, we won't be needing it as we are sliding into the winter, but you guys get the point. Other than that, you guys know what to do. Stay blessed, keep taking action. We will catch you in the next one.